What's up, everybody? Crazy Canuck here. Welcome to a brand new series. We are playing Out of the Park Baseball 22, which is, for me, far and away the best baseball sim out there. Incredibly deep, incredibly realistic, and a heck of a lot of fun. So, in this series, we are going to be playing a standard game. So, starting in the 2021 season, and we are going to be taking over the Seattle Mariners. So let's set this up right now. This first episode, I'm kind of going to go through the settings I use to play the game. We'll get into meeting the team and see what we're up against. So first thing here, it's asking for challenge mode. I don't well, sometimes I play challenge mode, but for this episode or for this series, I don't think I am. So we're going to go no thanks. As for the leagues, I kind of like to make it as detailed as I possibly can. So I don't add everything. I'll do the Cuban, Mexican, independent leagues. We'll do Korean, and we'll do a couple of the Japanese leagues too. And we'll throw the Chinese one there too. And name of the save, we'll just call it Mariners because I'm super creative. So as this game is loading up, I'll just talk to you a little bit about my kind of baseball experience knowledge. I've been playing this game for a long time, but in terms of like real life baseball, I'm more of a casual fan. So the Mariners, even though me living up in Vancouver, they're the closest major league team to me. I'm a lot more familiar with the Blue Jays than the Mariners. So can't say I'm super familiar with Seattle, but we're gonna do our best, and with the help of you guys in the comments, letting me know. Who should we be looking to get? Who should we be keeping our eye on? What rookies are up and coming? I mean, I know of the few obvious ones, but who should we really be checking out? So that's kind of what I need you guys, your guys' help with in the chat. And also just kind of give me an idea of how you want this series to go. I've kind of got an idea of how we're going to do it, but your input would also be helpful. So this is going to be fun as we're just finishing this loading now. So yeah, Seattle is obviously a team that's still in rebuilding. It's been a while since Seattle was very good. Back in the early 2000s, they were dominant, but not so much anymore. So we're going to try to get them back to those early seasons about 20 years ago with Ichiro and Ichiro. Wish we had him. How old is he now? I don't know. Okay, so this is me, and we are taking on the Seattle Mariners. So start game. Let's get this going. And here is the loading screen. Now, for those that are brand new to Out of the Park Baseball, and maybe you've never played it, and you're going to kind of be watching... Well, you're going to be watching me play it. It's very, for the first-time user, it's very overwhelming. I was pretty overwhelmed when I played it at first, but there are a lot of really good tutorials out there. Even if you go back out as far as Out of the Park 17, Out of the Park 18, you'll find some good tutorials. It's essentially the core game is basically the same. And I'm still learning as I go. So, I mean, I'm not, I don't know all every single sabermetric stat and all that stuff, but I get by. I've put a few hundred hours into this game over the last 5 years, so yeah, I think I know what I'm doing for the most part. Okay, so before we even jump into the team at all, I'm going to go into my settings, not those settings, the game settings, and I'm going to show you kind of what I like to use as I make a few changes here. So global settings, scouting report, yes. Scouting report updates, we'll keep those as normal. All of these we kind of keep the same. So the first thing I kind of like to change here. Current rating scale, potential rating scale. I like the 20 to 80. I know some people like 1 to 5 or 1 to 100, but 20 to 80 is the more traditional way of rating ball players, and I've gotten used to it. Overall and potential. For this, stars is the default. I used the stars for a while, but I do find the 20 to 80 increments of 5 for me to be the most interesting. But again, totally up to you what you want to do. Show ratings greater than maximum, so that's like if someone had better than an 80, contact versus lefties, it would show as like an 85. I just like to keep it as 80 because you don't really quite know where their ceiling is, so I kind of like that little bit of mystery. Yeah, so that's about the same. Coaching system. This is I think this is brand new in Out of the Park 22. So we're gonna just keep this all normal. Coach cohesion impact normal. Enable owner goals. Yes, we're gonna want that. We might end up getting fired, and we get fired. We're gonna live with that. Okay, auto saving. We won't go once a year. We'll go once a month. We'll be going through these seasons. I wouldn't say super quickly, but somewhat quickly. We're not going to play every game, obviously. Box scores. We don't really need box scores from all the leagues. I'm just going to go human leagues and save 3D movements from human leagues. We don't really need any more of that. Actually, it doesn't. It doesn't matter. I've got a pretty beefy computer, so it doesn't matter here. Enable storylines, those are always fun. Financial settings, I don't really touch. So that's what I do there. Over on players and face gen, obviously we keep injuries on. Injury frequency, I do keep on normal. There are enough injuries in this game. Realistic modern day is like, yeah, you're dealing with injuries quite a bit, but I like it on normal. Delayed injury diagnosis, which means they don't always tell you the injury the second it happens. So, it might just say the player's injured. It might take a couple days to diagnose. I kind of like that realisticness. Hide injury rating, no, we keep that off. Position player fatigue, average, suspensions on, suspension frequency, yeah, normal. One thing I do check is the show player personality ratings. I kind of like to know if someone's like a captain or high greed or low intelligence or something. That is definitely helpful in building team chemistry and things like that. Player development settings, I kind of like to slow things down a little bit. So I put the aging speed down just a touch, like 0.90. Same with the pitching aging, just so the veterans last maybe a little bit longer. And I like a little bit of talent change randomness in it too, so people, all of a sudden going way downhill or going the other way. So I do up that to about 125. All this I keep the same. Face gen, so this is really dependent on your computer. Obviously, the more powerful your computer, the more it can handle the face gen as files build up quite a bit. For me, I have no issues with this, so we'll just do all players. And create face gen, yes, okay. Coach face gen pictures, yeah, I like coaches too. I don't need any background. One thing I do turn off are the baseball cards. They load around All-Star game time, and they just take forever to load, and I find they're kind of pointless. So that's it for that. AI settings. Okay, so this is new. This slider was never here before. It was just like easy, medium, hard, very hard. Now I want this to be fairly realistic, and I don't want to fleece the AI with deals. So we're gonna crank this probably max. Okay. And in terms of trading preference, I want it probably a little bit more skewed toward favoring prospects, but we'll kind of put it about there. Player evaluation, rating settings, ratings weight. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. Don't really want to touch that too much. The almanac, I don't really do too much with. Online league, database, nothing really there. Okay, so that's kind of about it for that. One more thing I am going to change is in the options setting of league settings. Now, the enable automatic evolution of the league, I really do like, and lots of these things can happen very randomly, but I have noticed I played one season with the Blue Jays, and in 2022, the league expanded by 2. I wasn't quite ready for league expansion in year 1, so I'm going to turn expansion off for now. We can turn it on a little bit later, but I don't want expansion happening in the next year. So We're going to take that off. And a couple of these, because I guess they don't have license for the actual award names, but I do like the Silver Slugger Award. So we'll change that. And the Gold Glove Award. I guess, yeah, they don't have, I don't know, they don't have license or something for that. And then all this I keep about the same. Rainouts, all this stuff is basically the same. But you can do whatever you want with it. So those are the settings I play with. And there is Crazy Canuck taking over the helm for the Seattle Mariners. So let's just check in with John Stanton, our owner. And he's got a few goals for us. Obviously, he's not overly, he's not overly optimistic on how this season's going. He says he wants us to be pretty close to 500 ball. So, anything around there would be really good. We need to upgrade at first base. Okay. We need to sign James Paxton. Well, he's on the last year of a deal. We'll talk a little bit more about Paxton, but we'll see. Real life, he's gone, or he's injured, so I don't know. I mean, he's not injured in this game, at least not yet. So that is John Stanton's goals. So let's dive a little bit into the team. We'll check the roster, and we'll check some of our top prospects, and we'll kind of check where we are, I guess, front office wise. Let's start with front office in terms of our budget. 118 million. We're definitely on the low side. Payroll, we're definitely on the low side too. Looking over at our scouting budget, I mean, that's not bad if I were to compare it to like a similar market team. I don't know, let's say Toronto. Toronto's a lot lower in their scouting and stuff. Chicago, I mean, they're 9 million, 13 million. So us at 10 million, 12 million, that's pretty good. Scouting probably, yeah, we definitely want to look at developing our farm system. We've got a few nice pieces, but definitely something we want to work on. So again, this is quite, at first, very daunting, but I really just look at how much money I have for free agents and extensions. I don't have a lot to play with right now, so we're going to have to improve our team through trades. I'm not a huge, I'm going to sell the team right off the bat. I'm going to keep this I'm going to keep this as realistic as I can if we're going to actively look for deals, but I'm not going to be trading the whole team in April. So we're going to see how it plays out. So that is that. And okay. Yeah, that is that. So let's check out our lineups for your Seattle Mariners here. So we'll jump in and check out the depth charts, and let's see what the CPU is kind of set up for us here. So in terms of, the lineups change a little bit different from lefties to righties, but we can look at that in a second. But we'll look at the main against righties with DH lineup. First, we'll start with Taylor Trammell. 23-year-old. This is his first season in the big leagues, moving up from AA. So will he be able to handle things starting in left field? I mean, I don't know. But I do like he's a personality. He's a captain, leader, work ethic. He's cheap. He's a rookie, obviously. So he's gonna get the start in left field for us. But we're gonna watch him closely. Ty France is our DH. The 26-year-old, also on a nice minimum salary. He's got nice gap power. He's a solid first baseman if we need him at first base, but he is going to DH. These are okay DH stats, 50-50 overall. This is his third. This will be his fourth season. He only played 23 games in COVID ball last year, and he had 302, but pretty small sample size there for Ty France. All right, Kyle Seager. So Kyle Seager he's got 2 years left on his contract. And the nice thing about Kyle Seager's contract is it is a team option. So we can opt out of this contract potentially and save us a good chunk of money. Will we do that? Probably. I mean, unless Kyle Seager is lights out this year, I don't see any reason why we would keep him here. We might even look at potentially trading him at some point near the trade deadline. So, but I mean, Seager's numbers are good, 60-60 overall. I mean, he's a solid ball player. So, and played all 60 games for the Mariners last year. 241 average, 121 OPS, not too shabby. Mitch Haniger's next. In right field, a bit more of a power guy. He's making $3 million. Arbitration this year, so his arbitration estimate is more like $7 million. So that's quite a bit. Mitch is 30 now, and he only hit 220 last year with 15 home runs, 32 RBI. OPS is under 800.8. OPS plus 108. He was just above average. We'll see though. We'll see what we're going to do with Mitch. But yeah, he'll be batting cleanup for us here. Evan White playing first base. Very good defensive first baseman. I believe, yeah, he won the Gold Glove at first base last year. He's got a funky contract, from what I remember. Yeah, so it is very backloaded. And he's on our payroll for a while. So Mariners thinking, well, I don't know if we're thinking this, but thinking he might be the future. Or part of the future, I would say. But, he's fairly manageable until about 2023, and then the numbers really start going up. So will he be earning the 7, 8, 10 million bucks in 3 or 4 years' time? Time will tell. He's got some potential. Got a little room to grow, it looks like, based on our scout. Did not hit well last year, though. In 54 games, he only hit 176, so an abysmal OPS plus. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that for sure with Evan White. All right, we're going to look at J.P. Crawford, another nice solid defensive shortstop who won the Gold Glove last year too. So we got a nice little Gold Glove infield. Not a power hitter, got a little bit of gap. He hit fairly well, 255 average, 92 OPS, a little bit of speed, but yeah, he's got some defense there too. Another arbitration year for him, estimate at 3.5, so he's 26, shortstop, he's pretty solid, so I don't think we would be looking at getting rid of J.P. Crawford, but if we're tanking and we could get some potential pieces for Crawford, we would end up moving him. I mean, everyone except for a few people are fair game here for the Mariners. Dylan Moore, big utility guy here, as he can play basically every position. He's got the flat-out 80 speed, which is nice to see, and he's got an offensive upside for sure too. So, bit of a dual threat here. He's basically a rookie, so he's got a lot of good stuff going on for him. OSA versus my head scout. OSA has him ranked a little bit higher in places, more defensively it looks like, but I kind of more trust our head scout. We have to look at scouting and stuff after. But yeah, he had a pretty darn good season. Well, he only played 38 games last year, so 255, not bad for Dylan. Jake Fraley is next. He will be our starting center fielder. Yeah, I mean, he's an outfield guy. He's got a little bit of speed. Got some gap. He did not play it really at all last year. Only hit 154, so we'll see. He's a bit of a work in progress. How old is he? 25. Then we got our catcher, Tom Murphy, and a little bit of power. Don't like that avoid Ks at all. He had a pretty good season in 2019, but did not play at all last year. We'll have to see how he is. Good catching defensively, though, so we'll see there. A couple other bench guys. Luis Torrens, our backup catcher. Another good defensive guy. Donovan Walton. I don't know why he's even on the bench. He kind of stinks, so he's probably going to get dropped down to AAA. Sam Haggerty is, he's going to be our classic pinch runner here, and he can play a little bit of everything, so he's going to be a good bench player for us, and that's his expectation. So Haggerty will probably sit on the bench for most of the year, and might use him in some base stealing situations. And, things change a little bit. Well, actually, quite a bit in terms of the lineups here. Dylan Moore ends up leading off against lefties. Trammell moves to second. Haniger drops down the order a little bit, but essentially the same. So there's our lineups for now. We do have some rookies which we need to talk about. We need to discuss, are they actually going to start the season with the Mariners? Because at least one of them, which I'm sure you know if you're a Mariners fan, is basically ready to rock. So we'll see. We'll get to him in a second. Let's talk pitching. So we talked about James Paxton earlier. He is our ace. I guess we're assuming he's not injured. He's the local boy for me from Vancouver. I love James Paxton. I mean, he's getting up there. His last season with the Yankees, I mean, he didn't play much last year. Definitely has the injury bug a bit, but he's had a couple of good seasons. He's got a few good seasons, so we'll see. 2020 was a bust, but we'll see if virtual James Paxton can bring it back and have a breakout year back with his old team. We'll have to see. Marco Gonzalez, our number 2 pitcher. Nice little control pitcher. Not a lot of velocity, that 87, 89, but he is a finesse guy. He's got 4 decent pitches. Had a very good season last year. 7-2 record, 3.10 ERA, 136 ERA plus. FIP is pretty good, 3.36. But we are gonna have to start paying Marco Gonzalez, and we're paying him up until he's going to be about 34, 35. That team option in 2025 is kind of nice, but we're hoping Marco continues to be a solid pitcher, and he will most likely be a number 2 or number 3 pitcher for a while for us. Marco Gonzalez. Yusei Kikuchi is back and earning a ton of money here. He's on $15 million. He's got a player option at 13 next year. He's probably going to take that, I would imagine. Well, better than average player, 4 good pitches. But his 2 years in Seattle haven't been that great. Last year was a little bit better, but not much in limited action, so we'll see how Kikuchi is. I don't know. Not sure about him. He would be tough to move as well, so he'll be kind of a mid-rotation guy. Chris Alexin is next. First year in Seattle. He was actually in the Korean League last year, and he had a hell of a good season in the Korean League. 3.01 ERA, 1.09 WHIP, 2.38 FIP. Yeah, he was pretty good there. So we'll see if that translates back into the majors, as he kind of been bouncing around. He's been all over the place. Mets for the first 3 years, yeah. Then he went and spent 2020 in the KBO, but now he's back. So yeah, he'll be a lower rotation guy, at least for a little bit. He's on a fairly manageable contract right now, so hopefully he's a good piece and he will perform. In the number 5 spot currently, we have the relative youngster who is actually already in his 3rd MLB season, Justin Sheffield. I mean, his overall isn't great. 3 really nice pitches. Not a super high-speed velocity guy, but he's got that nice slider that has potential to actually improve even more. Another Seattle Mariner that had a decent COVID season last year. But, we'll see how it extends to back the full 162 game seasons here. We don't know. Okay, and then we'll check the bullpen. We'll do this a little bit quicker. Rafael Montero is our closer. I mean, I don't know if I'd consider him to be an ideal closer. I feel like he's a little bit more of a setup guy than a closer. I feel like a bona fide closer would be someone we're looking for, because I believe we have Ken Giles, who's injured. So Montero is just kind of filling in. So we'll see how he handles the closer role. We got Kendall Graveman, 30-year-old, last year of a contract. I do like that he's an extreme ground ball. I try to look for those pitchers as much as I can, especially if I have a really solid infield. That usually helps quite a bit. He did not have a great season last year. Anthony Mizowitz? You're gonna have to correct me. You have to definitely correct me for I'm wrong on pronunciations, but he's got a nice slider, fly ball pitcher. Okay. ERA is not great, but his FIP actually was pretty good, so I actually look at that a little bit more. We got Will Vest, first year in the majors. Nice fastball, power pitching guy. Okay. Drew Streckenrider coming in from Miami. Couple good pitches, the fastball and the slider. He had a rough year in my. Oh no, wait, no, he didn't. What kind of? These are weird stats. He only pitched 14 innings. Okay. His whip was really low though. But he gave up a lot of home runs and walk. This is wild. Can't even make sense of this guy's stat line here. Anyway, whatever. Middleton is about as average as you can get for a middle reliever. AC Sadler is about the same. Anything sticking out here? No, not really. And then we have Swanson and Dunn, a couple long relievers. Yeah, okay. Hopefully we won't have to use these guys too much, but Dunn's got a bit of an upside here, potential of 55, so he's got some room to grow. Okay, so we'll finish off this first episode by taking a look at our prospects. Well, first let's take a look at our injured list. Yes, we have Ken Giles. We will not be seeing him this season at all, as he is at Tommy John surgery, so 10 months. Yeah, we won't see him until 2022. Munoz, he's going to be a good reliever, and he'll be back in 3 months. Shed Long will probably just go back into the minors. Yeah, fibula 4 weeks. And we do have Kyle Lewis, who will slot into the lineup when he's better. He'll be back in 2 weeks, so looking forward to getting him back. Kyle Lewis, as he was Rookie of the Year last year. He had one heck of a season. Okay. So what I like to do is I like to track my prospects. Now I don't control my whole farm system. Especially for this series, we just straight up don't have time. But I will be watching closely, and sometimes I lock a few of the players that I want to control their movement myself. So I do make a little short list. We're just going to call this Top Prospects 2021, and I'll add a few guys to it. So first one will be, Wyatt Mills. I don't even know if I consider him a prospect at 26. He's just a solid pitcher that we might see up in the majors pretty quick. But here he is, Jared Kalinick, with that 80 potential. He wants to play in the majors. He didn't play last year. That contact, if that goes up to 70, this guy is going to be an absolute monster. Left fielder, I feel like our what was our left fielder again? I forgot. Taylor Trammell. Did we start Kalinick? I feel like maybe we just give him a run right away. Just let him jump in. So I'm just going to add him. I'm going to add Kalinick for now. I'll have to think about that. Logan Gilbert is a very good starting pitching prospect who is basically major league ready. He's 23. He's another guy where we might think, why wait? Why don't we get these young guys up and going? So Gilbert might see a look pretty quick. Maybe the first one of those bottom pitchers for us to have a crappy game, and Gilbert's going to be up. Oh boy, this is going to be a tough name to say. Jose Marmolejos. Bit of a power bat here. 28, again, another guy I wouldn't really consider to be a prospect. He played 35 games with Seattle last year. He hit okay. And then, yeah, that's kind of about it. I kind of look at potential-wise, and if they're higher than 45, here's another one. Nick Marjavicius, more of a finesse pitcher, but we're going to keep an eye on him as well. Basically, if their potential is more than 45, I'm going to take a look. Over in Double-A, we got Sam De La Plane, who really shouldn't be in Double-A, I don't think. He should be at least in Triple-A. Hell, he's probably ready for the majors here at this point. I mean, relative to Double-A, he's absolutely dominant. So, yeah, not quite sure why De La Plane's in Double-A. I guess he was just there before, so we'll see how he performs, but we're going to be interested to watch him. Julio Rodriguez is going to be another really exciting player. He is not ready yet. He needs at least another year to marinate, but and Kalenic, Rodriguez in the outfield. I mean, the future looking pretty bright, I feel, for the Mariners here. And then, I mean, I feel like we've got an embarrassment of riches with pitching prospects. Emerson Hancock is looking good. George Kirby is looking good as well. But again, we'll have to see with these guys. And we also have LJ Newsome, who we'll keep an eye on too. LJ, look at that control. I don't like that movement, but it'll be interesting to watch. And we'll also take a look at this Austin Shenton too. Austin Shenton. All right. So yeah, if there's anyone else you guys want me to keep an eye on, let me know in the comments. These guys we won't really look at too much quite yet because they're still a ways away. Well, these relievers aren't maybe too far away. Now, Levy Marte, Reinhardt. I mean, quite a few players to keep an eye on here. We've got a couple guys in the Rookie Ball League. Beautiful. There we go. So that is your Seattle Mariners, as we're basically at 30 minutes, and we've kind of run through the team. Next episode, we will kind of put finishing touches on our opening day roster, play our opening game, and then go from there. So hopefully you guys like this episode, and let me know what you want to see in the future with future episodes, and yeah, we'll see you next time.